Okay, hi guys. For whatever reason, I'm hoping you guys can see this okay. On my camera, I'm about 1.5 inches long and 1/2 inch wide on my screen. So I'm going to check on my laptop and see if it's any better. If anybody's there, can you let me know what you're seeing? Okay. Well, technology. What a pain. I don't know if I'm going to be getting my positioning of the camera correct or not. So um, I guess I'll find out. Okay, so you're seeing me full screen? All right. I am not going to be able to see oh, sorry about that. I'm not going to be able to see comments very well, but I'll try. I'll have to look up on my laptop all the time. So I'm just hoping that you can see the things that I'm presenting, as I'm working. So it'll be a challenge. Okay. All right. So it's showtime. I'm gonna wait just a minute and see if we get more people on. I think we are. This is very frustrating. I am not happy about this. And I don't know what to do. So, okay. I guess it looks fine on the laptop, so I guess I'll proceed. My only concern is that you can see what I'm doing down here. So, okay. So let's see here. We've got some people on here. We got Ruth. Hi, Ruth, and Susan, or Sue Delcamp, my buddy. Jackie, Sunny, and Diane. Hi, guys. All right. I guess we shall get started. Today I'm making this copper embossed ornament that you can hang on the tree, or you can hang it anywhere you like. Any place that you'd like to have something hanging, you could put this on a chain if you wanted, and hang it someplace. I guess you could do whatever you want with it. Okay, but it's a piece of copper. Hi, Carol. Hi, Chrissy. And we started off with a piece of copper that I embossed through the rolling mill. I had made some patterns and ran them through the rolling mill with this snowflake pattern on there, and then I cut out these little trees. I have been selling the kits if anybody's interested. They're not really kits. They're just the two pieces. They're the copper ornament and the tree cut out. But if you want to make your own, I've got in our handout that I'm going to be giving to you later, I've got a template that I drew of this ornament and tree, and you can cut them out with some metal shears. The ornament should be no problem at all. The tree might be a little bit dicey when you're cutting the little branches on the tree, but you can modify it, make it a little plainer if you want. So that's an option too. Let's see here. Okay, so I guess I will get started. Hey, Rhonda. I will get started with what we're doing here. This camera is really throwing me off here. I don't know why this is doing it. It must be something in this disconnected there for a second. Okay, so it's going to be one of those days. All right. So what I did to begin this project is I'm going to be using this Impress Arts enamel paint pen, and that's going to be giving us the patina, the bluish green patina. I think it's more blue than it is green, but they call it green on the tube. Okay, so we're going to use that. We're going to use well, the first order of business would be to mark our holes. I'm going to turn the camera down here. I hope you can see that okay, guys. All right, the first thing that I'm going to do is mark where I want to put the holes. Try to raise that up so you can see that maybe a little better. Please tell me if you have any difficulty with seeing, because I'm at a disadvantage here today with this camera phone. Okay. Hey, Patty. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is mark where I want my hanging hole to be. So I'm going to take a Sharpie marker and I'm going to mark, and I eyeball everything. That's just how I operate. So I'm going to mark a hole in the center of the ornament there where I'm going to hang it. And then I'm going to take my tree and I am going to mark that also. I'm going to make a small mark at the top of the tree and then one on the trunk. You can see that, I hope. Yeah, you should be able to see those two marks. And then what I'm going to do is I want a larger hole punched on the top of the ornament. So I'm going to take my hole punch and I'm going to put it in the largest hole on this 3-hole punch that I have. Okay. Line that up right on the marker spot. Where's my wrench? Okay. This is a 3-hole punch. Eurotool sells these, and it's a very handy punch. They make a 3-hole and a 4-hole, and they serve 2 different purposes. They all make holes, but the 4-hole is also a wire gauge. In the respect that it makes the holes the right size for different kinds of wire, different sizes of wire. So that's kind of handy. All right, so I punched my hanging hole right there. And now I'm going to use punch pliers because I have them and they're handy. And I'm going to, but you could use a 2-hole punch on that as well. On this as well, I should say. So I'm going to line this up and punch a hole. This 1.5 millimeter punch is going to correspond with 16 gauge wire that I'm going to use for my rivets. Okay, pop that through and pop that through on the bottom. Okay, so I've got my 2 holes punched on the tree. Hey, Jennifer. I hope you're feeling better. Okay, so I've got just those holes punched right now. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is patina this piece, just the ornament. And I will do that. Let's get this out of the way. The stuff accumulates very quickly right in front of me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is mix some liver of sulfur I've got some hot water that I put in a thermos so I could have it handy. And I don't have to get up and go to the sink. And I've got my liver of sulfur gel. And I'm just going to dip my craft stick in there to get a little bit. Oh, the aroma. Ugh. It's like 100 rotten boiled eggs. And then I'm going to slip my piece in there. And let that stew in there for just a minute. All right. Now notice I did not put the holes in the ornament yet. Okay, I will be doing that, but I didn't want to put them in now, and I will show you why. There is a reason. All right, so and I patina the ornaments or the metal before I put the paint on. I think that it adds something to the color of the paint pen than just using it plain shiny copper color. Oh, need to rinse that. All right. Oh, I gotta cover that liver of sulfur or I'm gonna die here. Okay. All right. So now the ornament is yucky colored. And I'm going to take, I like to use these craft foam sheets from the craft stores. And I think they're like in the kids section, at least in Joann's they are. Just to work on them. They have, when I put my item on top of there, it seems like I can hold on to it. It kind of grabs onto the piece a lot easier. So I'm going to take some 4O steel wool. That's 40000 steel wool. It's very fine. It's like an extra fine steel wool. And I'm going to clean the top of the ornament. And I don't want to take it all off, but I want to get that that top layer of black yuck off of there, for lack of a better term. And clean around the edges. It's actually a quick little project and very cute. All right, so that's all I need of that. And then I got rid of my steel wool filings there, and I turned the mat over, and now I'm going to paint on top of this. So when you get these paint pens, you need to shake them up really well. They have a little ball bearing in there, and so when you hear that ball bearing shake around very freely, then your paint is mixed up sufficiently. So I like to store my pens, you know, with the point down too, to just help that flow. Sometimes these pens are great, but sometimes they are stubborn to get the paint out of them as you use them. So you just need to prime them a little bit. And by that I mean, if I'll show you on a paper towel, maybe you can see it better, and just kind of pounce the tip so that until that ink is flowing out freely. Okay. Oh, my dueling burrows. Yeah, yeah, I thought they were kind of cute placed on there. I love these guys. I don't know why, but I love them. What is the paint again? It is made by Impress Arts. Of course, it's backwards. You can find these at Joann. I know they have them at the Joann stores. I tried to find them online on Amazon, but they don't sell them individually in all the colors. They have like a 4-pack or something, but I mean, it's way more expensive. And truthfully, out of the 4-pack, I think it's a 4-pack, maybe it's 5. I'll use the green and the black, and that's it. I've tried the other colors, but I don't care for them. But you know, if you have them and you like them, you know, that's all good. But I'm just telling you that I just buy these individually, and I really like this color a lot. Okay, all right. Nib down, Jennifer. That's how I store them. Okay, so that's primed, and I'm just going to kind of tap it on here, get that ink flowing, and just color, which is kind of fun. It should flow freely. If it doesn't, then you need to prime the pen a little bit more. Okay. That's pretty quick. Now I'm going to let that dry a couple minutes, and then I'm going to apply a second coat. Okay. I think it's important. It'll just show up better if you have a second coat on there. So while that is drying, you know, you can, on the sample one that I made, I did not stamp any letters or words on the tree. But on this one, I'm going to stamp. And where did I put it? You know, I only have this small space, and I still lose stuff. It's kind of crazy. It's going to make me... Today is just going to be a challenge, I guess. It's probably right in front of my eyes. Oh, well. It's going to make me work. All right. So, while that's drying, I'll talk about this tree. It's not very wide, so usually what I'll do is just put a word in vertically, but you could do something short, maybe with 4 letters or 4 numbers if you wanted to put a year date on there, or someone's name that's very short, like Ben or something, you know, something small. But if you have something just a little bit longer, then I would go vertically with the stamping. So what I do for that is I take my Sharpie marker and a little ruler, and I think maybe if I do this on a piece of paper, you might see it better. Keep all my scrap paper because it comes in handy for things such as this. Okay. So what I'm going to do, the way this tree is designed, I'm going to line up my ruler right at the bottom of the top portion of this tree, and that kind of is the same size as the width of the trunk. Okay, so I'm going to run a straight line from that area down to the trunk. I'll just do it and show you what I mean. And this is just as a guide to where I want to stamp. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a guide. Okay. Okay, so that's basically all I did was draw 2 lines. All right. And I am going to stamp the word peace on here. And I'm just writing it out just as a guide of where I'm going to stamp. Okay? Hey, Wendy. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside for just a minute and give the ornament its second coat of marker. If you feel the pen dragging, it's because not enough ink is coming out, and you need to prime it a little bit more. You can totally use these ornaments just shiny copper too, if you like. Then you don't have really much of anything to do, but I really like the look of this. All right. Okay, so it's got the second coat on. It's a little deeper shade. Now set that aside again. All right, now I'm going to get my stamps, and I think I'm going to do these in uppercase. All right, get my hammer, and I like to tip this box a little bit so that way I can see. Well, I don't know if you can see that, but okay, so that way I have my stamps here and my bench block, and make sure you pick the right letters and you orient them in the right position. Always double check before you hit. And that's the P. Oh no, that's a B, that's not an E. Silly me. Okay, P, E. Are you coloring inside the lines? Coloring, I'm punching inside the lines, if that's what you mean, Sonny. Oh, you mean with the marker? No, but you could. You could. Actually, what I will do with this is, I hadn't really thought about that. I could definitely color inside the lines with the blue. I think that I will do that. Thank you for the suggestion. All right. Yeah, I think all of us that do any kind of stamping have stamped in the wrong orientation. And nothing is more frustrating than that when you're doing a long phrase or a word or whatever, and you're to the second to the last one and it's wrong. You know, your A is sideways or your E is sideways. It's not a good feeling. Okay, so because I stamped on this piece, it bows. So I'm just going to flatten that all out. I will get rid of my Sharpie marks. And I'm going to try that, Sonny. I'm going to try putting the blue in there. Normally, I probably would have gone with just black, but we will try the blue. All right. We'll see how that works. Now, Jennifer had gotten a kit from me on this last week, and she just put up a picture and showed me how she designed it, how she decorated it and designed it, and I really like it. She took the tree and she used a texture hammer to make like the little greenery, like the little pine needles or whatever on the tree. It's really cute. And she coated the whole tree in the patina, this patina green, and then she did the snowflake background with a white patina and then rubbed that off. It really looked nice. Very holiday-esque. All right, so I'm going to give this 2 coats. Let that dry a couple minutes, and I think we're probably good to go on this. It's still just, it's not tacky, but it doesn't really feel, it doesn't feel as dry as maybe it could. Maybe I should just wait a second here. While that's happening, I guess what I'll do is, the next thing that I need to do is I will scratch this the enamel coating off with a polar block. They're called different things, I guess, but you can get these at Sally's Beauty Supply, and they are just a little nail buffing block. And I found this to be the least aggressive for this kind of paint, but you still have to be very, very cautious. As you're rubbing this or sanding this, it's very easy to take way too much off. So the good thing is that you can always repaint it, but if you don't want to do that, to avoid it, you just have to be very, very have a very light touch with your sanding so that you don't take too much off. Okay, so after I sand that, then I'm going to spray the ornament with the clear acrylic sealer, because that has to dry. It doesn't take very long. They dry pretty quick. It's best if you have good ventilation. And I forgot to turn my fan on, which I need to go do. But that will help. Hang on just a second while I go turn on my fan. I have to grab this other thing here. Okay. All right, I am back. Okay, so I've got a box, just an old pop box that I use for my spraying. It's not really a spraying booth, but we'll call it the spraying booth for right now. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and take off some of this patina. And I'm going to start in the middle as opposed to the edges, because you can really take off too much on the edges right off the bat when you're trying to get to the center. So I start kind of like in the middle and just kind of rub it across. And you can reveal as much of the copper design that's below as you want, because it would be a shame to hide the whole design. But you see how gingerly I'm doing this? It's not, you don't want to be aggressive at all. Oop. Okay, so if you can see that. I'm happy with that. And then I want to make sure that I go on the outside edges just in case you went over the edge a little bit with the marker. And just clean that up a little bit. And before I forget, I'm going to give the little tree just one more bit. Oh, come on. Ugh. Oh, it's right here. Duh. Give that one more coat inside the letters. Maybe even 3. We'll see. Although time's a factor here. So, let's see here. Patty, is your design on the metal made with rolling mill and a metal texture plate? No, it is in the rolling mill, but I made one. I have a silhouette cutter, and let me show you this here. Oh. Okay. I have a silhouette electronic cutter that you can buy patterns for, and you can size them however, whatever size you need. The smaller you go with them, the more tedious it is to pick out all the paper in between the designs. But I used this because number one, I have the machine and I could make it. These are also good to make patterns if you're going to etch, because you can make your patterns in vinyl and etch on your copper plate and get the design, which is nice. But if you have a rolling mill, it's a breeze to just make a pattern and just press it on your metal. So, and you can reuse these paper patterns probably 4 or 5 times each and get a decent pressing out of them. But they do tend to, I mean, they're just paper. So if you're not careful when you're weeding, which is a term for, you know, removing all the space, the waste, you know, between the design, I just lost my train of thought. Oh my gosh. Bad day. But yeah, they wear out. So, and they tear. So Gwen, if you're listening, you know, if you're watching, if you don't, I didn't check your website, if you have any patterns like this, I'm sure you have holiday trees and different things, but a nice size sheet like this of a larger design would be so nice to have something like this and take away all that need for weeding, because it's a pain in the butt. It's doable, but it's a pain in the butt. And if you already had a ready-made pattern like Gwen makes, that would be nice to have something like that. So you hear that, girl? Get on it. Now I'm gonna go look at Rolling Mill Resources after this, and you'll probably have something on there already. Okay, so that's how I got these patterns. Okay. All right, so there's that. All right, let me clean this little piece guy here. I'm just removing. This is easier because the letters from the stamping are recessed a lot more than the ornament design. Oh yeah, 2 layers of this is fine, and it looks great. I hope you can see that, but that showed up real nice. Okay, so, oh, Jennifer, she has trees and a tree and candy canes. Okay, all right, well, I'm talking about a repeat solid pattern, hopefully, but I will definitely check that out, see what she has. Okay, so I'm going to take both of my pieces, and I'm going to, I use craft sticks a lot for just lifting as a means to not have this stick, have the acrylic spray stick to the ornament on the cardboard. So what I'm going to do is set this inside my box. Okay. And I'm going to just get my spray here. And I'm just trying to contain some of this spray so it doesn't get on any of my tools or anything. And I'm just going to give it a light spray. PU, another stinky. All right, now I'm going to take it out of the box. It's nice and shiny now. And I'm going to set this in front of my fan so it dries off quicker. All right. Okay. All right. Sorry for the interruptions. All right. So we have a couple of minutes where we can talk if we have anything to talk about. Let's see here. Do you guys have any questions for me while that's drying? These also, they wear out fairly quickly. So if you're going to buy one, I'd buy a couple of them. They're usually like $1.50 at the most. You can get a knockoff brand, which I believe this is from Amazon. And I think they come 12 in a package. That might be a little bit too many. But I usually buy them that way now because when I teach, they always get one of these in the box or in their kit. So they're kind of nice. What was that, a spray varnish? Not a varnish, but it is an acrylic sealer spray. This particular brand is made by Royal Coat, and it says Royal Coat Decoupage, high gloss finish. But I don't believe that I know it's not under this label anymore, but I believe any acrylic spray, high gloss or gloss spray will work. but the drying times may differ. And I can only go by this because I bought like, I don't know, a dozen cans or something when they were on sale. And actually they were discontinuing it. That's what it was. They were discontinuing this product and they had it on sale. So I bought as many as I could find, which was about a dozen. And I still have them. So I've been using them. But I would say any gloss spray would be fine. Okay. All right. Sunny says, I bought the 7/8 inch round tube for the birdhouse project. I made 2 1-inch discs. Do I need anything else? Okay. I will go over that. Actually, I'm not sure if we got the dimensions right on that, but I'll go over that in the group. I'll put a post on there to tell you what you need if you want to do it. If you want to do it along with me or whatever next week. I just sent my husband to the hardware store to get some more of those couplings, and I think they're right. They're right here. Actually, you know what? I've got the time to tell you. Okay, this is the coupling that you need. This I believe is a 1 inch. I believe this is 1 inch by 1/2 inch diameter. Okay, and it's 1 inch tall. Although it looks taller to me, but I think that's what it is. No, I think it's 1 1/4. Sorry. It's 1 1/4 inch tall by 1/2 inch wide. Coupling. These are in the plumbing department in your hardware stores. Make sure that you don't get the coupling that has a seam in the center. They're plumbing supplies, so I don't know exactly how they're used, but we don't want the one with the seam around the center. They all, to my knowledge, have some numbers stamped on the top, and that's okay, because what we're going to do is put the little name plaque, like Nest or Home or whatever, and we're going to solder that on top of those numbers so you won't even see them. You just have to make sure you position them. The discs are a 7/8 inch disc, so you need 2 of those. One for the roof that we're going to dome, and then the other one is going to be the bottom of the birdhouse. Okay, so those are the things that you're going to need if you're going to make the birdhouse, which is on the books for next week. Can you just cut a 1 1/4 inch length of 1/2 inch copper tubing? Of course, yeah, absolutely you can. If you want to do that, you go right ahead. That's certainly doable. And then you have the freedom to make it whatever size you want if you're cutting your own pipe. They do sell different widths and lengths of those pipes too. So you could make, there's an even smaller one, which, well, I'll show you that when we do the demo next week. But there's other sizes of those pipes too. So you could make an assortment. You could make a little nest village or birdhouse village if you wanted. So there's all kinds of things that you can do. Okay, so we're drying the pieces right now, and the next thing is we're going to place the rivets. The bad thing with the demo is that, the stuff's got to dry in between, and I didn't think to do one ahead of time, which I should have, and got it to the point where it's dry enough and we could just go right ahead and rivet. But I will talk about what I'm going to use to place the rivets. And I'm using Gwen Youngblood's Riveting Essentials Kit wire gauges. And she came up with a pretty genius system of making the wire the right height that you need for your project to make your rivets, if you're making your rivets out of wire. And it goes by the width of the, or the gauge of the wire that you're using. So in this project, I'm going to use a 16 gauge wire. I could use an 18 gauge wire, or I could use a 14 gauge wire, but since the tip of the tree is rather small, I thought a 16 gauge would probably be good. So we're going to do that next. And I'm going to go check on my pieces. Jennifer, okay, you have half-inch pipes, so that'll make something. Yeah, sure. Experiment. You know, if you've got this stuff already that you can modify, go for it. You know, I saw those made at the hardware store, and I thought, boy, they'd come in handy for something. And they do. They do. All right, let me check on my pieces. And they're good. They are dry to the touch, but I know that if I squeezed them, I'd probably leave a fingerprint. So if you're doing this at home, give it ample time to dry, just so that you don't smudge it up. All right, so let's see here. But yeah, it dries pretty darn quick, really. All right, so I've got my wire, and let me turn this down here again. All right, I've got my wire, and what I want to do is on the tree, you know, we've punched both holes, top and bottom, but I'm just going to work on the top hole right now. And I'm going to line the tree up and center it where I want it to be on the ornament. And then I'm going to take my marker and mark where I want that top hole to be. It still is kind of tacky, guys, but I'm gonna risk it. All right. So I've made my mark with my marker there, and I'm going to take my pliers. These pliers are nice in the respect that they have a longer reach area. If you have a 2-hole punch like this, these are great. I love them. I've used them for lots of years, but they only have a short reach area. So I could not position this in there far enough to get where I want to go. So it would take either a pair of these punch pliers like this, or the other one like this, that you can put your piece in. This is great because you could do the centers of large circles or larger pieces than you could on the punch pliers. So just a thought, so you guys know. So I'm gonna put my hole in here. All right. And okay, then I'm going to lay the piece back on here. I'm going to take my 16 gauge, get the 14s out of the way so I don't flub them up. I'm just going to cut a piece of wire off here, and I'm going to, how do I want to do this? I want to go through the center hole First off, make sure that you have a flush cut on the bottom, okay? So I'm going to go through the 16 gauge center hole, through the hole on the top of the tree, through the ornament hole, and then I'm going to put the 16 gauge second piece on the bottom, okay? So those are all stacked up. Okay, and then I'm going to take my flush cutters and I'm going to just lay it right on top of the top wire gauge and snip that off. This you can use for the other rivet. Then I'm going to take off the top wire gauge and get my chasing hammer. I'm going to use the ball peen end of the chasing hammer, and I'm going to tap. And that is spreading the wire out to cover that hole. Now I can remove the bottom wire gauge, turn the ornament over, and I still have that perfect size of the little nub on the other side to make the other rivet. Okay, so that is on there, and I did leave some fingerprints. Oh well, I can probably, after this dries, I can probably buff that up a little bit and then respray it, and it should be fine. Okay, so now I kind of scooched back the tree to line it up again, and I've got the hole in the trunk where the second rivet's going to go, and I'm going to take my punch pliers, wherever they went, oh here they are, and I'm going to punch through the tree trunk and punch through for the second hole. The reason I don't put the second hole on the ornament at the same time is a lot of times when you're riveting, things tend to shift a little bit. So chances are, if you had all your holes that you thought were lined up prior to putting your wire in there, the rivet in there, you're going to find out it doesn't line up very well. So it's better to just do it this way, do it one at a time, and then that way you know that it's going to go in the right place. Hopefully I explained that clearly. All right, now I'm going to cut off the bottom end of this to make it flush again and stack my pieces up. Okay, so I have all 4 layers that the wire has gone through, and I'm going to cut that little wire off, remove the top wire gauge, leaving the bottom one still in place. Okay, remove the bottom wire gauge and tap that down. Okay, so it's on. All right. So that's pretty much it. Then I would, well, like I said, I'm going to probably, since I do have some fingerprints on here, it was bound to happen because it really should have been left to dry a little bit longer. But for the sake of demonstration purposes, And my tree won't mind one bit if it has a little bit of smudges on the ornament. So what I'm going to do now is, if you have a large jump ring, you don't have to have a large jump ring. You can just put your ribbon through there if you want. But if you put a large jump ring through there, and then you can buy some pretty ribbon like that. Some of this ribbon, too, I mean, it depends on the type of ribbon that you buy. I think a copper ribbon would be really pretty, but when I was at Joann Fabrics the other day, all they had was silver, and they did have a copper colored ribbon, but it was like a, I don't know, 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch wide, and I thought that would look funny, but maybe not. But I didn't buy it regardless. I just tie my knot in here. But some of these ribbons will tend to fray a little bit. There's a product called Fray Check in the Sewing Notions department that you could, I probably shouldn't be using my cutters on this, but I did. Or you could take a little piece or a little dab of glue, like something that dries clear, and just coat your edges, ends of your ribbon, so that way they don't fray all over the place. But that's that. You could burn the ends. Okay, I could try that. I've got a little thread burner. Maybe I could try that and see how that would work. Yeah, because this, no doubt, this is like a woven ribbon, and no doubt this is going to all just be little threads all over the place. All right, so that is the project from the demo, but I also wanted to show you another version, and this one came to me from my Facebook friend Lori Vaden, who comes up with all kinds of super cool stuff all the time. But she had posted this ornament several years ago on the Potter People group that she did, and at least I believe that's where it was. But I fell in love with it as soon as I saw it, and she told me how she did it, and I ordered the ornament pancake die from Potter and the tree. And this is a different kind of patina. This is cupric nitrate, and I love how this looks, but this takes a long time to achieve this color. I want to say days. I can't remember exactly, but it's a solution. It's blue like this, cupric nitrate. It's by Sculpt Nouveau. I will have that name also in the handout, even though it's not really the project that we did, but this gives you another option to make a patina like this, which I think is super cool. And it kind of is random, you know, where it turns blue like that. But I want to say it took a couple of days for it to really bring out all the color. But the one that we did today, the other is nice in the respect that these are pretty quickly done. It's whoa, I can't, you know what, it can't be a demo unless I drop the camera. Jeez. Yeah, I will hold it up in just a minute. I hope I don't make anybody nauseous when I drop the camera like that. Cupric nitrate, I know it's backwards, by Sculpt Nouveau. Yeah, Jennifer, the salt soak and fuming and ammonia, that does, yeah, absolutely does work too. And it does take days. So, but this is what we did today is more of an instant gratification project, which I kind of like that. You know, you can crank a bunch of these out if you wanted to give them as gifts. I know someone is going to use them as gift tags on their holiday boxes, which I think is an excellent, excellent idea. I can't remember who said that they were going to do it. Maybe Sandy or Patty. I'm not sure, but I thought that was a great idea to put that on the gift box, you know, with the person's name on there. I think it's a very clever idea. So that is pretty much it. I mean, these they're just quick and easy. What can I say? I have more of the trees and ornaments available. I've got them packaged, you know, as a set like this. They're $6. Unfortunately, shipping is $4. I tried to offer it where it was $2 for postage. I thought, well, I'll stick a couple stamps on there and just make it cheap that way, because postage or shipping to me is like one of the biggest banes of my existence. I know it's necessary, but it just gets to be a lot when you're ordering from a lot of different places all the time. So I tried to offer it for $2. I put it in a regular envelope and brought it to the post office, and they felt it and they said, oh no, this has to go as a parcel. This, you know, it can go in the envelope, it can go in that white envelope, but it's going to be going as a parcel, and that's like $4. It's either, depending on where you are in the country, shipping is either like $3.80 in one of those little gold envelopes that I send my stuff in. It's either like $3.80, or like if you're on the West Coast, it's like $4.25. So I just, you know, just charge the $4 for the shipping, and it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter on weight, but you can get quite a few in the package. I don't know. I sent like 6 or 8 to somebody, and it was still like 4 1/4. So that wasn't bad at all. But my point was, this is a $6 item, and the shipping costs almost the same as the item. So if you consider getting some of these, you might want to get a few of them just to make your postage cost effective. That's all I can say. Yeah, the shipping is nuts, but you know, it is what it is. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I've got enough copper to make, I don't know, 20 or 30 more if they're needed. So it's up to you. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the demo. This is maybe a little shorter than most. Next week is probably going to be a little bit longer because we will be doing soldering. And I certainly don't expect you guys to do the projects with me all the time, but if it's something that would interest you and you've got the supplies and you want to do it, go for it. You know, it would be good. So, all right, guys, if there's no other questions, not any other questions, I should say that, I will make it a wrap for today. So yeah, I'm happy to do it. I'm okay. All right, guys. I'm sorry I was a little discombobulated because this camera thing is really throwing me off. It's weird. It's like I can see all your comments like really large, but my viewing area is very small. So it's like weird, and I don't know really how to fix that. So hopefully by next week I'll get it figured out. It's the first one in a lot of demos that I've done. So, all right, guys, I'll see you on Facebook. If you make any of this stuff, please post it in the group. I always like to see what you do. So we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.